What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the KFC Transistor, their version of a Masterpiece blaster. So this is actually an older figure, but it's just recently been reissued in all the different decos. I've actually owned at least 2 copies of this in the past, and I had QC issues myself, so I didn't keep it. But I heard that there were going to be improvements. I wanted to check that out, and we're going to be talking about that during this review. Now, my experience may differ from yours. I did post images of this on my Facebook page, and I heard mixed reviews. Some people said they have it, they love it. Some people said they have all sorts of QC issues. So it seems to be QC, at the very least, is spotty. Now, I can only tell you about my copy, but as far as I know, the reissue should be similar to what I have in front of me. So they are also reissuing the pure red version and the orange version. I'm taking a look at the metallic red version, which really shines. Let's take a quick 360. We'll put the G1 cartoon there. And yes, it looks really shiny and nice. You can lift that panel up if you like. There's a back. A lot of little detail and painted on areas that just add to this pretty much everywhere. There's paint pretty much everywhere except for these thigh pieces and these bicep pieces and the feet. Although there's paint down here, the silver, but the rest of it is a plastic. Nicely done face sculpt. Nice blue eyes with white head crest and mouth plate. Overall, pretty good looking blaster. He comes with a ton of accessories. So first off, you get these speakers, and they are painted in this metallic gold paint. Looks really nice. To utilize those, you do have to kind of take apart the arm. So go ahead and unpeg this panel from here. And it can be a little bit tricky, so you might want a spudger handy to help you get in there. There we go. Open up this panel here. Open up this panel here. The bottom of the arms. And then open up this panel, and then finally this panel. There's a lot of moving panels there. Make sure you rotate it so the fingers are downwards, and that's going to be same for transformation. So once you have the fingers down, then fold the hands in. Make sure the fingers all tucked in there, otherwise you're going to have trouble later. Now we can close this all back down, so fold that first, then fold this, then fold this, then fold this down, and it is going to kind of latch into there and then peg into the side of the arm. Right, now that we have that, you can see there's a peg there, and that's where these are going to fit on. And now he can be blasting some Decepticons with his tunes. That looks really good. You can also use his blaster here, gun. You get 2 of these. These are unpainted. They're just this gray plastic. Go ahead and open up his fingers. I've never liked the fingers. We'll talk about it now. On KFC, they're kind of loose and fiddly. But one thing they did do is this tab fits in very securely in the hand. So thankfully I can say that, this, even though the fingers are fiddly and they don't really work all that well, the gun pegs in very securely and doesn't fall out. But I'm not a fan of these fingers at all. There you go. There he is with his gun, and he can be using his speaker and his gun at the same time. And it's a nice looking weapon. You can also store it on the back here. It's kind of a fan mode, but go ahead and open this up. And this peg fits on right here. So you can just tab that in there and just set that on the back. Don't push it too hard, but there you go. You can mount his weapons on the back if you want to. I don't believe these speakers will fit anywhere, so if you don't want to use them, you just have to set them aside. Of course, he also comes with Rewind here. Hopefully I got that name right. And he does have his card here. They call him Hi-Fi. I believe it's Rewind. I might have that wrong. Here's the tape. It looks really nice on the front. One of the issues with the original version was the paint quality. So this one seems to have better paint. The original would flake off, and actually you'd end up with little pieces of paint. So far I've transformed this twice and I don't have any paint. I can say the same thing for this red paint, which is a huge relief. That's one of the bigger issues that people have had with the paint job on this guy, is it flaking off, especially the red paint. So I'm happy to report that that's not happening here. So you can transform this guy. Go ahead and pull the legs out. Take the foot, and that's going to fold down and rotate to the front. And I'm not really sure what this toe is supposed to do, but I guess it just points to the outside, because pointing upward looks a little weird. But maybe just push it so that it's not, just make it so it's flat on the ground. Come to these arms, pull those out of the sides, flip the head around, and that's going to rotate to the front. And let's just orient the legs here. And then you're going to pull up on his torso. That's going to kind of elongate him. And then rotate his hands so they look right. And there you have Rewind. And he looks really good. It is much more solid than it used to be. It used to be kind of floppy and flimsy. These joints are nice and tight. And there aren't any screws, so if it does get loose, you are going to have an issue. But right now, it's nice and tight. I don't have any problems. So you could pose him however you like. He also comes with his own guns. So here's his golden gun. It's painted. Again, it doesn't feel like it's going to flake off. But there you go. There's that gun. There you go. There he is with his guns. Good looking fella. He does have a rotation at the head. Head can go back and forth on that joint. The shoulder can rotate at this joint, and it can rotate up to there. You have a separate joint here. The shoulder can go all the way to past full double jointed elbow. You can get all the way up to there if you take the gun out. No rotation or anything at the waist. You have a quadruple jointed knee just because of the transformation, so obviously you can get anything you want. And then a ball jointed foot gets you side to side, up to there and back to there. So really, a really highly articulated little tape here. So you do get, I forgot to mention, you can put in alternate face sculpts here. So here's an alternate face for Hi-Fi. And this one just basically has a red face mask. And then you also get this one, just slightly different look there. So whatever you prefer, you can use that head sculpt. All right, the last accessory you get here is an alternate head. This is the toy looking head, or maybe IDW, whatever you want to call it. But it is this shiny red with silver and then yellow eyes. And that looks really nice. And that's really it for the accessories, other than this tape cassette cover, which you can use in the cassette mode. But of course, you'd probably just put it in his chest instead. So let's go over his articulation. So the head is on a rotating swivel, so it rotates all the way around. It is definitely tighter than my previous copy, so it doesn't, flop around like it used to, so that's a good thing. It does look up to there and down to there. The arms rotate around on this joint, nice and tight there. Really tight, actually. This is also another nice tight joint there at the shoulder. Rotation of the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, but just due to the way it transforms, it's kind of hard to utilize it, but he has two joints here and here. I do see a little bit of underspray inside there. It's hard to get it on camera, but inside the elbow there's a little bit of underspray, but for the most part you don't see it. For the hands, you do get individual articulated fingers, like I mentioned, and a rotation at the wrist. So that's pretty good. And then the thumb itself is on a ball joint and has a single articulation joint. We'll just take this gun off. You have a rotation at the waist that rotates all the way around. It's a little bit loose, but not too bad. You do have the ejecting tape cassette here, so you can open that up. You can put the tape in there. We'll show that off in the tape deck mode when we get to there. You can also put it in robot mode if you want to. Coming down here, you have hip skirts here. So that is a running change that they added on the second and third version. So they've continued that here on the reissue. So you get ratchets in the thighs, gets you up to there. Although I wish it went one more click. Goes back to here, hindered only by this. You can kind of move that out of the way a little bit. And then out to the side on another ratchet. So ratchets in all three directions. You have a single jointed knee, gets you 90 degrees. Rotation at the mid thigh. Don't love that, but it's okay. It doesn't look too bad there. Moving downwards, you have an ankle tilt that goes all the way up to there. And you have an ankle pivot, goes way down to there and a little bit up. So plenty of articulation on this guy. The ears also move just a tiny bit. So if you want to reposition the ears, you can. I just usually leave them alone. So that's his articulation for this guy. And for a quick size comparison, there is Transistor next to the Takara Tomy Soundwave and the MP44. This is the KO version Optimus Prime. And fits right in. He is about the same, almost exactly the same size as Soundwave, maybe a hair taller, but overall pretty good size, pretty good look. He fits in really nicely with the Soundwave. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his tape deck mode. Go ahead and take off the speaker if you have that on there. And we are going to start with the arms. It's just the easiest way to, get this all squared away. So go ahead and open up this panel. That's going to open up here, come to the back here, open up this panel, open up that panel. There are a lot of panels here. Rotate the hand and make sure you have the fingers in and rotate that inside his arm. You can close that back down. And we're going to lift up the arm on the shoulder joint, fold this downwards. You can see that's going to make kind of a T. And this panel is going to fold down, and you can see there's a peg that's going to go into the side of his arm. So if you don't have it lined up right, it won't go in there, so make sure you have that lined up right. Take this panel, this is going to rotate downwards, and this panel is going to also rotate downwards. You can just leave those there for now. They will peg together there, but that's going to make the back of Soundwave. Okay, so same thing on the other side, get the other arm all squared away. All right, now we get the arms done, we can work on the lower body here. I forgot to mention before I started that you do want to be careful when you're folding and moving these panels. Because of this metallic pig, it does scratch. So just be careful with it. So far, I haven't had any issues, to be honest. But you do want to be careful with that because it has the potential to be damaged. All right, so go ahead and open up these legs here. And we do want to get this apart. So pull back on, actually first rotate this around. And then pull back on this, and that'll free up these leg panels here. And I find that this one's a little tight, and I have a hard time getting it to have enough clearance to actually get free. So I have to kind of hold it, and then I can get it out there. All right, but there you go. You can free those leg panels there. All right, because that's going to help us with the transformation for the rest of it. So come down to the leg here, we'll do one leg. So go ahead and open up this panel here on the side of the leg. That's going to open up to here. That'll free this up here. And this is probably a trickier part. Go ahead and fold this into the foot. Fold the foot back. And actually fold the foot to the side. Open up this panel to the side. And just get enough clearance so you can get this foot folded downwards and against the back of his leg. Right, now you can push this back over. That is a tricky part of the transformation, and you do have to kind of pay attention to how things are clearing. Right, so come to the side here. You can kind of see how this is going to end up, but open this up, rotate this around, and that's going to fold back on to the top here. So go ahead, open up this panel here, rotate the head around, just push the ears in ever so slightly so it'll fit down in this cavity, and then close this up. And open up these panels here. And now we're going to push these all the way back. And again, I was worried about the paint scratching there, but it hasn't scratched so far, so that's good. All right, next we're going to come to the back here, take these panels, and these are going to slide down on these sliders, both sides. And then you can take this panel, that's going to just peg into there on the back. Mine doesn't peg in all that well. I guess it does. Maybe it does. Okay. Go ahead and take these panels. These are going to fit inside here and peg into the back of the arms like this. Same on this side. Looks like this came out. So make sure you keep this pegged into the side of the arm. And get this in here. And this will probably come out again, so you may need to put it back. But go ahead and get that pegged into the back of the arm. Alright, now that we have that, we can come back to the front here and get these panels squared away. So you can kind of see that there's a small peg slot there, and this peg on this red panel is going to go into there. So I'm going to fold this upwards and get that, get that positioned properly. And if that panel comes out, just get it pegged back in. And peg that panel in to the side. And it can be tricky to get it all lined up, but and then there's two panels here on this side, one here and here. So maybe it'd be better to do those first. All right, now they got the side panel in, we can go ahead and get this panel here pegged into there. And it is tricky, you kind of have to do it very carefully. All right, same on this side, go ahead and get that pegged in and all situated the exact same way. All right, and the last step here is to get this handle pegged in, so it's over under, just get that pegged in. That'll kind of help bring it together. I did forget to mention there is a panel that has to clear down here. So if you have it all right, it should look something like this. You can actually store the weapons. Oh, it looks like this came off. You can actually store the weapons down here if you like. You don't have to, but it's an option. So if you want to do that, you can take the weapon here, unpeg the barrel, fold this handle down, and it's basically going to use that same peg that we used on the backpack to kind of store it. So get that in there and then get it stored up in there. You could actually do it beforehand or after, it doesn't matter. I tend to do it after because it's just a little easier on, trying to fiddle with panels there. And then you take this piece here, and this is going to fit right into this little slot right here. So you just give that a little push, get that in there. It's again another tight fit. And this might be something that you want to do beforehand, but I find that it still fits even afterwards. You can do it. So I'm just going to do one gun. I just wanted to show you that is an option. But there you go. There is Transistor in his tape deck mode. It looks really nice. That red and the silver really shines. You got yellow paint here with gray around it. You can still open up his tape deck there, and you can just stick this in here. Now it is pushed all the way back, so if you want to release that, you push this button. That's going to release this yellow piece here. You press it one more time, it'll go all the way forward. So let's see. I think we want it one position in like that. I believe that'll fit 3 tapes, but we only need 1, so we'll push it forward. There you go, there's the tape inside. Clearly I'm missing the Autobot logo. I'm definitely going to put that on there after this review. I just like to show how it comes in the package, but really quite beautiful in this mode. And I love the tape deck, and it does get stuck a little bit, but you can get it out of there. So real quick, before we get him transformed back, there are some nice details on here. I can't remember if the original had this, but there's some words, and there's equalizer, graphic equalizer, and then some fake buttons. There's a fake audio port there, audio jack for headphones. On this side you've got some volume, and you got the balance, and then you got a power button. And those are all painted and they have words. That looks really nice. Here's the back, some nice detail there. Overall, very good looking tape deck mode. So final thoughts on Transistor. Let's start with the positives. It looks really nice. The paint job is very attractive on the shelf. It stands out. The features and the accessories you get are pretty good overall. You get a good value. Now, this tape isn't the greatest, but I don't have any QC problems with it, so that's fine as well. I don't mind. I do wish it was a little bit nicer, but overall it's fine. And it just feels like it's pretty good. Negatives wise, there still feels a little bit hollow. Like, it's a little bit cheap. There isn't any die cast. I wish there was some die cast maybe in the feet just to give it a little bit more balance. And it also just feels a little bit hollow. Also, it's at $140, the reissue versus the original. I don't remember how much the original, but at $140, it does feel a little bit pricey for what you're getting here. Now, if Fans Toys or Takara Tomy or anybody were to release another blaster, I do feel like they're at risk of being replaced just because it doesn't feel premium. But overall, really good figure. I can recommend it. At least my copy, I don't have any problems or QC issues. All of the joints are nice and tight. They did fix the head issue, which was, this used to flop around. Now there's a little tab there. So you push that tab in, it does stay. So that's nice. The head itself is nice and tight. The arms are tight. I don't have any loose joints. He's pretty sturdy. So that's really it for this review. Hopefully I helped you make a decision on which way you want to go. Me personally, I'm going to keep this in my collection as my blaster until we get a replacement. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.